Time now for In Retrospect. Todd, you were teammates with Derek Bell with the Mets in the year 2000. What made him such a unique character? Because I know this was one of the first segments you ever pitched to us.
Well, we don't have enough time to say all the things that made him unique, but he had just a great personality. He was really a guy that loosened up the team. He'd sing Eminem before Eminem was even known on the bus. But the thing that I loved about him the most was that he got his paychecks cashed, for one thing, by the clubhouse guy and brought to him in stacks of hundreds so that he could take it with him on the road. And we're talking about a guy that was making $5 million a year. So these are big paychecks and big stacks of money. But he would also have, before every road trip, he would have dry cleaners come in with suits for every day of the trip. And the suits were green and purple and white and black, and they all had matching belts and shoes to go with them. But the key to this was he would only wear them once. Every time he wore a suit, that would be it. He would discard it and he would give it away, right? So Robin and I said, we couldn't have anything better. We collected 5 of his suits after a road trip and dressed up our rookies in them because they were orange and green and purple with ostrich skin belts and shoes. He was a classic teammate, and he was an amazing player that particular year, so he was a blast.
Yeah, I mean, I've heard a little bit just from you over the past year or so, just some of these stories about Derek Bell. And so I've known about him personally from what you've said, but the numbers, when you look on Baseball Reference, he was obviously a very productive player. Yeah. But Todd, what exactly was the money in cash? Like, did he just like to have a lot of cash on him? Well, as far as we can get into it,
that might have gone to the darker side of Derek. Let's just say.
Like to make it rain?
That's all I'm saying. Like you guys go ahead. Open mics. There you go.
Well, no, I guess, yeah. Well, listen, how do you want me to transition from Derek, from his proclivity for the nightlife? I mean, so listen, but for Bell, you look at where he was initially when he was, on the Killer Bees down in Houston, right? And it was Bell, it was Bagwell, and it was Biggio. And then where he developed and became a career and when he became a Met. You mentioned the personality. I think that's important for a team to have one of those guys in that clubhouse that can keep guys loose, because if everybody's tight, it's hard to enjoy the game you're playing, especially when you go through a little bit of struggle. So to have that kind of a personality, like you mentioned, Todd, and being that kind of teammate and having Derek Bell in that clubhouse, I think that helps a team over the course of a long season.
Well, for me as a reporter, one of the things that always sticks out about Derek Bell is the famous Operation Shutdown quote that he delivered when he was on the Pirates, and he found out that they considered he was in a competition for a regular job. And he said, well, if that's the case, I'm going into Operation Shutdown, which I love for the frankness there. Yeah. I mean, we always want athletes to tell us what they're thinking and feeling. Here's a guy who did. I mean, it reminds me of the Willie McGee quote about the All-Star game, or not Willie McGee, Gary Templeton a long time ago about the All-Star game. If I ain't starting, I ain't departing. Yeah. And I mean, this is coming from the heart from these guys. This is what we want from them as reporters. So I always love that Derek Bell did the Operation Shutdown thing. Now, it didn't work. Unfortunately, because he was released about 2 weeks after that, and he never played in the majors again. Yeah. But it also prompted, I believe, I don't know which writer did it, but that he had turned into an actual real pirate because he lived on a boat.
He did. He lived on a boat in Chelsea Pier when he played here for the Mets. And one other quick one: Robin and I, during the Braves series, the John Rocker era, when there was 1 billion people at the ballpark, it seemed like, we had tickets to a show in the city after a day game, and we're like, we're never going to get there. How are we going to get there? Derek Bell. We jumped on his boat. He went around Rikers Island, dropped us off at Chelsea Pier with Slim Shady playing at the loudest decibels so we could bring a crowd. We jumped off and went to the show. We made it on time. There you go.
Did anybody notice what was happening when you pulled up?
Oh, absolutely. He made sure that they noticed. He's there with a captain's hat on, playing music, talking over his mic to the crowd. He gathered a crowd for us to port.
I just can picture seeing that and going home telling my friends, I just saw Derek Bell, Robin Ventura, and Todd Zeile pull up in a boat. And they'd be like, no,
not happening.
Please tell me he had a parrot on his shoulder at the time.
Well, he didn't, but he had a captain behind him in case he didn't quite know how to park that.
Did you ever wear one of his suits, Todd?
I never got to wear one.
Oh, stop. You wore one of those suits.
Well,